Mr. Homeschool.
Hi, Mr. Homeschool here. So today's lesson is going to be how to plot a course on the ocean using simple math. And this could also relate to your family's next road trip. So before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that I have first-hand experience doing this. I served in the U.S. Navy on an aircraft carrier, and my job was a quartermaster, which primarily deals with the safe navigation of the ship. So first things first is you'll need to know the basics of plotting your coordinates on your map, or what we call a nautical chart. Your GPS on the ship will tell you your latitude and longitude. Your latitude on the chart will be on the sides, on the left and right hand side of your chart. And your latitude is all based on the equator of the world. So you'll be X degrees north or X degrees south. And then your longitude will be on the top and bottom of the chart, and that's all based on the prime meridian, and that is X degrees west or X degrees east. And wherever both of those numbers meet is where you are or where you like to be. Now, when it's not going to be always dead on the line, so then you'll use a compass to get the exact measurement off the side and off the bottom of the chart, or the top or the other side, and have it match up exactly where it is. And then X marks the spot. Okay, so now let's get into the problem-solving math. So when solving any problem in regard to navigation, you will always have two out of these three elements, and this is the best cheat sheet I can think of, is distance equals speed times time. You will always know two of the three elements here. Let's start with one of them. Let's say you know how far you need to go, and you know when you need to be there. So you know the distance and the time. So let's just say on here, this is going to be accurate, but let's say you're here and your captain or your navigator wants to be here. And so let's say that is 50 miles away. And he says he wants to be there in 10 hours from now. And you know it's 10 hours. Okay? So now you know the distance and the time. The only thing that you don't know, and this is where your job comes in, is the speed in which you need to go to get there around that time that he's asking. So you know 50 miles divided by the time of 10 is 5. So in the Navy, or just in nautical terms, you're going 5 knots, which is similar to miles per hour. So that's one problem-solving technique in this equation. Okay, a second example. You know the speed and the time, but you don't know the distance. So in this situation, you know that you're going 10 knots, which is like 10 miles per hour. And you want to know, or your captain or your navigator want to know, how far are we going to be going 10 knots in 12 hours from now? But, okay, so now you know these two, but not that one. So now, instead of dividing, because they're next to each other, you're multiplying. So speed times time will tell you your distance. So 10 times 12, 10 times 12, 120 nautical miles or miles. So that is a great example of how to solve that problem. Our third example today would be figuring out the time element of this equation. So you know how far somewhere is, and you know how fast we're going. We need to figure out what time we will get there. So the navigator or the captain tells you that we are, based on the chart, so that could be also your job, but let's say we are still 100 miles away and we're going 10 knots. So because distance over speed will give you the time, 100 divided by 10. So 100 divided by 10 is 10. So that tells you that in 10 hours we will be wherever we're going. And that is your answer to him, is 10 hours. Now, the proper thing to do would be tell him the exact time. So if it's midnight, then you say at 10 a.m. based on our current speed and our current course, we'll be at that place at 10 a.m. So as long as you remember distance equals speed times time, you'll be able to solve any problem that comes your way. So that wraps up today's lesson. Thank you. God bless you. Fair winds and following seas.
Mr. Homeschool.